So our next presentation is pre-recorded. So Iris, you all set? Okay. There are many things that are out of our control. And I deal with anxiety. And so knowing these last minute changes would normally send me through the roof. But I was determined when I came into 2021, that the year of maturity, that I was really going to work on my emotional state and how I handle things. And as an event organizer, you just got to go with the flow. It is what it is. And I am still grateful to have LaTasha Briscoe and her son, Cameron Briscoe, a part of this event. But Cameron, and they will explain in their presentation, their pre-recorded presentation, he is currently playing football right now up in Charles County. They made it to the playoffs. So if you're going to miss an event, I think that's a good reason why. So I'm just going to do a brief introduction about LaTasha and her son, Cameron. And this is really why I wanted the teenagers to be a part of this conference, because what that young man is doing and his mother, the nucleus, is extraordinary. So the mother and son team will share their passion for God, serving the community, and inspiring youth to reach for the stars. LaTasha is the wife of her high school sweetheart, Owen, and mother to Jasmine and Cameron. LaTasha is a creative that loves to write poetry and design. LaTasha is the owner and creative director of LB Innovations Events, a full-service event planning and design firm. LaTasha also serves as a creative strategist to entrepreneurs looking to create, grow, and relaunch their small business. Now, Mr. Cameron is extraordinary. He's now 9. He's a student athlete and budding entrepreneur. He is the owner of All Year Gear, which sells apparel with motivating messages. His brand motto is create and motivate. And Cam, as he is known to his family and friends, is building a legacy and leaving a positive mark on the world. Cam has a passion to uplift and encourage people with the gifts and talents God has blessed him with. The title of their presentation is Building a Brand and a Legacy. So you can give a round of applause, and we will play their pre-recorded presentation now. LaTasha and Cameron.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is LaTasha Briscoe, and I am here with my son, Cameron Briscoe. And on behalf of Miss Jennifer Foxworthy, we want to thank you and welcome you all to the Unstoppable You Conference. Unfortunately, we are not able to be there live with you all today because Cameron, which he will share later, is a student athlete. And today is one of the big games of the year because his team has made it to the playoffs and they are headed to the championship, and he needed to be there to support his team. But I am definitely excited about sharing a little bit about myself and about Cameron with you all today. Again, I am LaTasha Briscoe, and I am the owner and creative director of LB Innovations Events, where we planned and manage and design weddings and events with purpose. I'm also known as a creative strategist, and I help entrepreneurs build their brands. I am also a brand manager for Cameron's business, Cam's All Year Gear, which he will tell you a little bit about when I pass the mic to him. Because of the format that we are presenting to you all, we are going to make this an interview. So this is something new for the both of us, but I am going to be interviewing Cameron today. So this is his first time being interviewed by mom. And we do have a lot of information that we want to share while still being mindful of the time. But before we get into all the good stuff, I just want to pass the mic to Cameron so he can say welcome and tell you a little bit about yourself before we start.
Hello, everybody. So, my name is Cameron Briscoe, and I am the CEO and founder of Family All Year Year. What my business is we create shirts with motivational text on them, and I'm actually wearing one right now. Pray hard, play hard, and one cool thing about me, one cool thing about me is like like my mom said, we are in the playoffs. And one cool thing about my team is we are actually undefeated, 70 now. So yeah, and from my personal life, like I said, my name is Cameron Briscoe. I'm 9 years old. I go to Billingsley Elementary School. I am in third grade, going on the fourth. And yeah.
All right, Cameron, but thank you very much for sharing that with us. And we are going to conduct this in an interview style. So Cameron, we are on side-by-side screens right now, and we are in the same room, which is why he just did that little faux pas and turned around and said, "Can you hear me?" But hey, we're live. We're presenting to you live, and this is all uncut. And we just want to be ourselves today. And Cameron is just excited, so he wanted to make sure you guys could hear him. So we're not doing any editing. That nothing has been rehearsed. So I have questions, but he is definitely going to be giving you whatever comes to the top of his head. So my first question for you, Cameron, I know why I got started in business because I had a passion when I was younger. I was 18 years old. And a little bit younger than that also. And I started planning and designing events for friends and family. And my mom pushed me and she said, you know, you're doing this, you're putting a lot of energy and a lot of work into creating these amazing events. I need for you to figure out how to make money by doing this, because I was borrowing money from my mom trying to create these events. And she said, no, you need to make your own money doing this. And when I turned 18, she ended up gifting me the registration for my business. So that's really how my business got started. I had the passion and I had the ideas, but I didn't have that business mindset. And I will tell you, that was 20 years ago when I started my business, but that business mindset still came years later because I had to learn from a lot of mistakes, which I will try to touch on today. But Cameron, tell us a little bit about why you wanted to start a business and what got you motivated to do that.
So I would say the main reason why I started a business was to mainly because I wanted to make money. My first idea was to start, like cutting grass, cleaning people's cars, like normal neighborhood making money things. Yeah, I don't know what they call it, but normal ways to make money in your neighborhood. So then I came inside from while I was playing outside with my friend, and I came inside. I was like, I'm looking for a way to make money. So then my mom came up with the idea, how about you start a business? So that's when we just went up here from there. And then she got a presser, so then we started creating some shirts. And then, yeah, so that's how my business grew.
So it's interesting how Cameron, he shortens the story about how his business actually started, because he skipped a big piece, because all the ideas that Cameron was presenting to me, all of them had something to do with me getting him there. Washing cars, I had to get him there. Cutting grass, I had to make sure he got to these houses if it wasn't just our neighbors' houses. And I was trying to figure out something that he could do in the safety of our own home, something that I could still watch him do and help him do, but he could just be creative with it. And I didn't want him to be responsible for other people's property, especially no one's car or lawn. And in my mind, I thought he was still too small to, go and cut other people's yards. So I said, well, Cameron, why don't you think of something that you can do from home? And that's how we started jotting down a bunch of ideas. And he came up with that business, starting the business to do the t-shirts and sports gear, because he wanted to put some motivational messages on some clothing. And there was a football player, I cannot remember the name of the football player, but there was a football player that was wearing a skull cap underneath his helmet, and it said God first. And so Cameron saw that, and he was like, well, those are the type of messages that I want to do. And so he started out just putting quotes on shirts, short things for kids to remember. And one of the first shirts that he wore, that he designed, was God first. And like he said, today he has on his Pray Hard, Play Hard shirt, but they're just short messages for young people to actually be motivated. And then as they enter the world, because as we know, within the first 5 seconds that someone meets you, that's when they're going to determine what their first impression of you is. And so we wanted to put some words on a shirt that when people walk up to you and see you, they would automatically know that you were covered by Christ, because, or that you are a positive person, or that you're an inspired person, or that they can learn something from you because of what you're wearing. And while we don't want to encourage people to judge people by their clothing, if people are out there judging people by their clothing, we want to make sure they're judging them by something good. So that's that's a mouthful, but that is really the motivation behind Create and Motivate. And Cameron, he came up with his logo and all of that. And we got someone to actually design it for him. So it was just an amazing journey to watch him and to be there to encourage him. So my next question for you, Cameron, is, with all of the ideas, I know before you started your business, you had all of these ideas on things that you wanted to do. And I said, hey, let's think about something else, or try it this way, or whatever it may be. But why do you think it's important, not just when it comes to your business ideas, but other things that's going on in your life? Why do you think it's important to share those ideas with your parents and to discuss them, with a parent or an adult before you just go out there and do things?
So I think it's important to do stuff like that, because who knows? You don't, like, say you got a job for cutting someone's grass, and you live right here, and they live about 1 to 2 miles away from you. Not telling them about that is like kind of like, you're going there, and who knows, you might be doing, like, the questions are like, what are you gonna ride there? If you don't have a bike or something like that, what are you gonna ride there? How are you gonna get there? Well, same concept, but like, how you gonna, like, how you gonna take this stuff? Like, how you gonna take a lawnmower? How you gonna take a weed whacker? How you gonna take seeds to plant the grass back? That's all the crucial things that you might need and know where to carry it.
So I get what you're saying, Cameron. Basically, you can't have all of these ideas and not ask for help, because you're going to need help from some adult to help you with all of these decisions that you're making. Because even in your business, like I said, we had to narrow down the list of ideas to something that would be pretty simple for you to handle. But even with your business, it took me a while to even let you press a shirt, because the machine gets so hot. And so I had to make sure that you were safe. So definitely talking to your parents about what you need in your business, and those logistics, those details, transportation. When we do events and you do a pop-up shop, you can't drive to that pop-up shop by yourself. So I have to make sure you can get there. Plus we have to make sure it works with all of our schedules, because we both have very busy schedules, which takes me to our next question. How hard is it for you? You're a student, you're an athlete, you're a business owner. How do you make sure that you get all of these things done and you also keep up your good grades while supporting, because you also have to support your football team. And then like today, we're doing this presentation. So how do you make sure you get all of these things done? And I know the first response is probably going to be because mom, make sure my schedule is good. But how do you do that? How do you balance that? And how do you make sure that you're being responsible in all of those areas?
So first thing is football. I didn't this season, well last season, I really couldn't play football because of the virus. It was supposed to be tackle, but then with all the contact, first I was like, nah, I'm not gonna play because all the contact. I haven't been through that in a long time, and I don't think I'm used to it anymore. And then the second reason why is because like I just mentioned the virus. So then we mentioned flag, and I was like, sure, why not? So then now we got the playoffs coming up, and this is a game that we cannot miss because we're playing one of the best teams in the league. Uh, so school, my grades are going higher as the school year ends. My goal is to hopefully get an AB honor roll. AB honor roll. Uh, yeah, and it's hard. It's mostly hard to maintain school because I gotta do all this side work. Like on Wednesdays, we don't have live classes, but she still gives us work. But lucky enough today, she didn't give us any work. And then having my business, working on the shirts has to be the hardest part about the business because half the time I want to make sure, half the time I don't. Half the time I want to make sure so my mom isn't home. Half the time I want to make sure that she is home, but she won't let me. So yeah, that's literally like what goes down having a business, doing school, and playing sports.
That's funny that you mentioned that, and because at the beginning, I don't know if you caught it, but I was talking about the machine. So like Cameron said, sometimes he wants to work and I don't let him. And it's because I have to watch him because our machine gets up to 450 degrees. And I'm like, if I'm in the middle of something, because I have a business to run also, I can't just say, all right, go ahead and make your shirts, Cameron, because we have to make sure that someone's monitoring him and that he's doing it right. We don't want to waste product because things cost money. And that's one of the things, I encourage young people that when you have these ideas, talk to your parents about your ideas, because I know most parents will be willing to invest in your ideas if you're serious about it, because no one wants to just throw away money. But if you are serious about an idea that's going to bring you a return and it's going to we don't measure success by money, but we measure success by impact. And I can say for Cameron can, he'll speak to younger people. During when the pandemic first hit, he was using his time to read to young people. He did it on his Facebook page, just reading stories during lunchtime. One, because he needed to be engaged with other people. And two, there were so many young, little kids. And I say little kids because he's in the third grade. So we're talking first graders and kindergartners that they missed that story time. And so they looked forward to hearing Cameron do his story time during lunch. And so we encourage them to do those things, but making that impact is what, how we measure success at this house. One of the things that Cameron, he mentioned, and I know he loves it so much, is football. And he has a whole lot of players that he admires and that he strives to learn their skill so that he can also show that skill off on the football field. But when it comes to life in general, I know there are a lot of people that Cameron looks up to, whether it's in the church or at school, but I know there are a lot of people that motivate you, Cameron. Can you share with us who your role model is or who inspires you? And it doesn't even have to be anybody famous, but who inspires you or motivates you and reminds you that you can do all things through Christ?
I actually have 5 people in mind. So I'm gonna go from 5 to 1. So number 5, I think Odell Beckham Jr. because I look up to his hands, and hopefully one day I'm gonna be good of a catcher as he is. Number 4, I think Steph Curry because I'm a center, he's a point guard, and most centers they can shoot as good as him. So my goal is to learn how to shoot as good as Steph Curry. Number 3, I think I got uh Patrick Mahomes. Maybe because he can throw a football very, very far, and I kind of can. I can throw football at least 30 yards, maybe 35 yards, maybe. So yeah. Second, LeBron James, because I really want to dunk like him in the future. One of the things actually on my bucket list is dunking on LeBron James himself. So hopefully I can achieve that, scratch that off my bucket list. Number 1, I think it's got to be God himself because he's the person who strives me to even continue to build up my business.
Cameron, that's really good that you shared that with us, and I admire that list of those athletes because those are all stellar athletes, and I know you are a stellar student and you are striving to be a stellar athlete, but also you are very passionate about your business. But the fact that you put God first, that's very important because as we know, without God, nothing else will fall into place. So that's very important. And I want you to make sure you're always encouraging your peers and adults that they have to put God first in order to succeed in life because he's the one that creates our plan. We just have to be obedient and following his will. So Cameron, I'm not just your mommy. I'm also one of the people that really want to support and cheer you on and see you go as far as you can in life. So before we wrap up, what word of advice can you give to people your age about starting a business or balancing school and maybe they have an idea but they're too scared to start, go forward with that idea? What bit of advice can you give them so they can say, you know what, I can do this too?
I mean, it's 2 words: keep going. I mean, you got an idea, just go for it. It's no point of, I know, like, just like me, I wanted to make money. You want to make money. You, it took me around like 2 days to even come up with one idea. So it took you like an hour, 2 hours to come up with this one idea, and you don't even want to do it. So then you're probably thinking like, what was the point of maybe thinking of that idea, knowing I'm not going to do it? Yeah, go for it. I guess just go for it.
Thank you so much, Cameron. And I love, he keeps saying that he had the idea because he needed to make some money. Cameron wanted a PlayStation or whatever. I can't even remember what device it was at the time. And I said, we're not buying any more devices. You need some money so you can buy your own device. And so that was really his motivation behind starting a business. But I respect the fact that he was determined. And even now, when he does his events, when he does a pop-up event or he gets orders in, he's like, okay, how much money, do I have? Can I go buy a PlayStation card? And I'm like, yeah, you can go buy a PlayStation card, but it's just teaching him that obedience and making sure that he understands when you want something, you got to work hard for it. God is going to put us in these positions so that we can receive certain gifts. And he also expects us to use our talents and the God-given gifts that he has provided to us to help the world. And that's where we make that impact. And so while Cameron understands that working is going to be the way for him to make money, I'm also constantly teaching him and pouring into him, as well as his church pouring into him so that he can truly understand what that create and motivate means. Yes, he came up with that name, but I want him to become an adult that understands what that really means. And so I appreciate, Jennifer, your time and allowing us to be a part of this event. And I hope that you all enjoy the rest of the event and support the vendors that are there and allow them to be successful today, that they've come out. And I just hope that everything that you received today from each and every one of the presenters allows you to leave and continue your day differently and look forward to a better and new tomorrow. Because remember, you are unstoppable. There's nothing standing in your way except for doubt. And we don't need doubt, so you can throw that out. And Cameron, do you want to say goodbye to everyone? And like I said, we're not there today because we should be right now in the middle of his playoff game, hopefully heading to the championship game tomorrow. So again, keep the whole team, the 49ers team, in prayer. And Cameron, I'm going to let you wrap up before we say goodbye.
Thank you, Miss Jennifer, for just letting me go on and talk about my business. And I actually do have one more thing to say. Go, Miss Jennifer! Woo!
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Hope you all have an amazing day.
Well, now is the glory. I'm a big girl doing big things. Don't let the skirt, I'm sucking it. Let me model my skirt. This is by Patricia. She's not able to be here, but yes, Heavenly Fashion for All. So let me strut my stuff. Oh, I'm feeling it today. Yes. Got the little tail in there. I'm like a beautiful peacock. Yes. Yes. Y'all keep Tom in your prayers. 14 years and going, this man has held me down every state, every conference, him and Noah. Oh my goodness, that's it. I praise God. That's my Boaz. Yes.